Hello! I've mentioned in a couple of past videos that I was collecting some art materials together to send out with my son to my sister in New Zealand because she wants to get into art. She was happy to pay for everything, and so I've been gathering together some of my favourite watercolour and mixed media products. I'll show you the things that I've got so far for her, and it's nice that I've not had to worry too much about the weight of them because my son's got plenty of weight allowance left in his luggage. I'll show you these things first of all, and then I'm going to work out what watercolours to send her in a palette out of my own supplies. She's been able to get hold okay of some 100% cotton Beohong watercolour paper, but I thought I'd also send her out this pad of Canson watercolour paper so that she doesn't feel too much pressure about mucking up her more expensive pad. She can try out all her new supplies on this paper, and this is still really good for lots of things. Then next up, I got her a set of Shuttle Art Tempera paint sticks. I've had this set myself and I've got a few real favourites out of it that I like using in mixed media work over watercolours. I didn't keep the whole set for myself, I just kept the more opaque solid colours rather than the metallics and most of the neons. But I really love the white and some of these kind of more neutrally colours. And she's got kids, so I think they'll enjoy playing with the ones of these, which she's not as fussed about. Then also on the subject of mixed media products, I've got her this pack of Tim Holtz Distress crayons. She's interested in doing landscapes, and I think this pack, the number 10, has probably got some of the nicest landscapey colours in. So I'll use my own versions of these to show you the colours from this set. So there's the Aged Mahogany, which is a lovely kind of dark reddy, purpley, browny colour. One thing I found with these distress crayons is that the cap colours and the end colour don't match the actual colours very well at all. So I'll be swatching all of mine out soon. I'll just show you the washed out version. So that's that one. Then there's Wild Honey. I think that'll be a nice highlight colour in green landscapes. Then there's Tea Dye. And Forest Moss. I think this is going to be one I use a lot because I'm always looking for really good dark greens. Iced Spruce. And then Gathered Twigs. Oops. So some lovely, subtle but rich landscape colours. I've also got her some Uni-ball, this is my own one, some Uni-ball Air Micro pens, and these are 0.5 width with black ink. And I like these for my splodge and scribble paintings where I've got watercolour and I go over the top and then I can layer them with more watercolour because they're waterproof. It's just a nice, smooth but firm tip. And I've also got her what I think is probably the most versatile brush set, and that's the Princeton Neptune Essential Watercolour set. It's got a size 6 quill in it. The 1/2 inch square wash. Probably my most used brush is the number 8 round, and then there's a 1 inch mottler. And these are synthetic squirrel. My sister said she'd like to do some watercolour in quite a loose style with mixed media on top. So I think overall this is the best set because they're quite loose brushes. And I'm really excited for her to try these out. Then I was worrying because I've got to get this set ready quite soon because my son's leaving this week, and I was waiting for this parcel to come in the post. I'd asked her to send me some pictures of the type of art that she's attracted to and would like to have a go at. And there was a gouache painting in there, so I got to this primary colour mixing set of Holbein's gouache. And I think this is really lovely gouache, so she'll be able to mix up most colours from this set. I'll send her a couple of my own firmer brushes for her to use with these. So I've just quickly grabbed a few out along the lines of what I'll send. So like Rosemary and Co. Ivory range. It's quite a firm brush. And then just a couple of others that I've got lying around. There's a Jackson's Artica Touré white synthetic and an Escoda Barocco. And there's a nice leaflet that comes with the primary set showing recipes for different colours you can mix up with it. I'm honestly just so excited for her to get her hands on these and get trying them out. Then actually one of these brushes is for me and then the other's for my sister. So I wanted to try out a Velvet Touch. Lots of people talk highly of them, but I've never used one. And I decided to get myself a flat shader. I quite like flat brushes. So yeah, I'll have a play with that. And for my sister, I got her another Princeton Neptune round. This is a size 4, so she can do slightly more detailed work. Then, not sure what's in this one. Okay, so my favourite white pencil of all time is the Holbein Soft White. It's just the most opaque, rich, easy to lay down white that I know of. And I get through them quite quickly, so I've bought a couple for me. And then I'll send one for my sister to try out. And I've also bought her one of these General's charcoal pencils in extra soft. I've really been enjoying using this lately, just for rough sketches and messy mixed media work. And I've picked her out too some Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2s. These are the water-soluble wax crayon type sticks. So I'll get these out to take a look at them. I'll show you the colours that I've picked out. Again, I've gone for mainly landscape colours because that's what she's interested in doing. But I'll swatch them out using my ones so that hers are still all nice and new. So I picked out Sepia, which is great for landscape darks. And then Beige, which is a wonderful neutral. That's my one. Got Aubergine. Oops, I just used hers. Sorry, Katy. I've just been enjoying purples in landscapes more recently as an interesting shadow colour. Then I've got Prussian Blue. I've got Ultramarine. There's Light Blue. And Cobalt Blue 5%, though I've got light Cobalt Blue hue. So I don't know if that's a newer name for the same one. I'm sure she won't mind me swatching it out in the name of science. Yeah, that looks very similar anyway. Turquoise green. And then I've got dark olive. I've only got one called Olive, so I don't know if that's the same one and they've changed the name for that as well. Sorry, Katy, I'm using that too. Yeah, it looks the same colour. Then there's moss green. Now I've not actually seen my moss green for a while. I think I might have lost it. So, sorry Katy, I'm using that again. And then there's the chromium oxide green, which is more like a green earth kind of colour. And then light olive, another of my all-time favourites. Sahara yellow. And then salmon pink. Just for a pop of colour. Maybe florals or something. I was just thinking, I was sure I'd ordered her more than those. Yeah. Yeah, so there are some more for her. Let me get them out. So a lot of earthy colours in this one. There's the olive brown, again another one of the ones that I really like. Black. Van Dyke brown. I've got burnt sienna. And then russet. Ochre. Golden ochre. And desert rose, which the old name was flesh. And then grey and white, which I won't bother swatching out. So I think that's quite a nice range of colours there. Don't they look so nice? Blues and greens, and then a couple of others. And then I also ordered her some Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils. Again, landscapey colours. I haven't got those to hand at the moment, so I'll show you the colours that I've picked out for her out of my own pencils. I've got olive yellow, green ochre, Herculaneum red, sepia, anthracrinoid pink, dark indigo, genuine cobalt blue, raw umber 10%, dark phthalocyanine green, light cobalt blue, Payne's grey, moss green, olive brown, and black. I already said about the Holbein soft white, and that's my one at the moment. And then I also picked her out 2 Derwent Lightfast coloured pencils, the Ivy and the Forest. So again, she's got a very landscapey palette there, but I'll make sure she's got a good range of watercolours so that she has got some variation if she really wants it. So next, I'm going to choose some watercolour paints for her. I had this palette going spare, so I thought I might as well fill that up. It's a bit stained, but I think once the paint's in there, it won't be too bad. So I'll make myself a colour swatch chart to start with. That's my colour chart made then very quickly. A bit scruffy, but I'll put the colours on and then tidy it up a little bit. I just eyeballed that, so it's not totally accurate. But that's going to sit behind the see-through mixing tray, just as a rough guide when she's looking for paints. I've also bought this smaller palette for her, so that if there's a colour I want her to be able to try out, but which I haven't got a lot of, or is maybe more of a speciality colour, I'll just pop it in here as an extra. So I've shown these before on videos, but these are my lipstick storage tubs. And I've got 4 of these with all of my loose watercolour tubes in. I've got this chart here that shows all of them. A few are crossed out, the ones that I've run out of now. So I'll go through these and pick out the ones I want her to be able to have. I've also got a few loose ones as well, which I can choose from. And I've also got these Mijello Mission Gold Pure Pigment watercolours. I'm slightly wary of using these unless I really need to, just because they're quite soft paints and I think they might take quite a while to dry out. And I haven't really got that long before I need to package them up. The good thing about using this palette though is that I can spread the paint quite thinly over the whole of that surface so that it's got a bigger surface area for the paint to dry from. So let's get picking. I think what I might do is just draw a really rough version of it again here. And do a practice one to see if I like how it's looking. I'm not worried about a white. If she really wants to make pastels, she can use the white gouache. The only really cool yellow that I've got is a lemon yellow from Mission Gold, so I'm going to have to use that one, even though it's on the runnier side. I'll swatch them out down here before I make my final selection. And then this Indian yellow from Jackson's is quite a nice warm yellow. I use Pyrrole Scarlet from Daniel Smith for a warm red. I'll use Quinacridone Rose from Daniel Smith for a very cool red. Oops. I'll use Daniel Smith French Ultramarine for a warm blue. Pop that down here. And I haven't got many cool blues in tube form. I've got Sennelier's Phthalo Blue, and then I've got Mission Gold Phthalo Blue. And they're both on the softer side. I'll go with the Mission Gold one. Oops. Just because I've got more of it. So that's a reasonable mixing palette. Okay, if I was starting from scratch, what colours would I absolutely love to have in my palette? I love Daniel Smith Undersea Green, so I'll give us some of that. It could equally have been Roman Schmall's Aquarius Green, but obviously I've only got that in pan form, so I can't share it. You can't mix a good cobalt turquoise colour from these, so I'll give us some cobalt turquoise. I've got this Lucas one. I think buff titanium's a really useful one. I probably prefer Sennelier's warm grey, but I don't have that in tube form. And then we need some good browns. And the only burnt siennas I've got are Sennelier and Mission Gold, which again are the soft ones, but I'll give us some of this one because I haven't got much left in the Sennelier one. Then I want to include a good dark brown. My only sepia tube, I've barely got any left in it. I might have to go with the Van Dyke brown. Let's have a look. What do I use the most? I'll pick one of these darker ones. I'll go for Daniel Smith's Payne's Grey. I could do with another earthy colour. I'll include Daniel Smith's Yellow Ochre. which is the same pigment number as some raw siennas. It's quite a browny one. And let's give her something purpley. This quinacridone violet's a really, really nice one. 4 more. I'll give her some Daniel Smith quinacridone deep gold. I do like this one. Just move up to here now. I probably should give her a couple more greens. And the Mission Gold Viridian is not really a Viridian, it's just a phthalo green, PG7. But it's a good mixing colour, so I'll include that one as well. I think this Permanent Sap Green is a nice base green as well. And more of a grassy green. Right, I've got one left for this palette. So I was going to use this little palette for more speciality colours, like more granulating ones. But I think my last colour on here will be Cobalt Grey, because I think it's a pretty good all-round everyday using colour. So that's my main palette. I'll put these in order and then put them in the pans. Let's transfer them into here. So I'm really going to smear them around the whole base of the pan. So it's probably going to look a bit horrible, but I do need them to dry out quickly. Okay, so that's those in there and they can get drying. I think what I'll have to do though is I'll put some cling film over this layer before I shut the lid. So if they get moving around when they're on the plane, they're wrapped individually into their sections. When these are dry, I'll write the information on. I don't think she knows anything about pigment stuff yet, but I'll write it on just for future reference. Then next, I'll fill up this little one. I'm not as worried about the order in this, so I'll just chuck them in. So Mindy Green's a fun one. Daniel Smith Quinacridone Sienna. Again, once she's tried these out, she can decide if she wants any of them in bigger quantities. Shell Pink's always a fun one. Oh, I know, let's put in some Opera Rose. What else is fun? Oh yeah, Schmincke Galaxy Pink. I think we'll go with Naphthalmide Maroon. I can definitely include some more purple here now. Some dioxazine violet, purple. Daniel Smith Moon Glow. And definitely some Sodalite. I should probably give her some kind of standard dark blues as well. Oh, well, before that, I'll put some Lunar Blue in because that's such a fun one. Oops. Oh, not sure that's ever going to dry. And that's Indigo. Oh, she might like Deep Sea Green. That's a nice one. I've got to give her some Cobalt Green Deep. That's absolutely gorgeous. I think the one I got from Roman Schmall not long ago is probably my favourite one. But again, that's not in tube form. But this one from Mission Gold is still really lovely. Zoe Sight's an awesome one. It's probably one of my favourite paints. I'll try and get a bit out of here. Oh dear. And then Cascade Green's always a nice one. Then I could give her a lighter green. I don't use this very much myself, but she might enjoy it. That's Sennelier's Phthalo Green Light. And I'll give her some Daniel Smith Olive Green. That's a good one. I've already given her Daniel Smith Undersea Green. I'll put some Green Apatite Genuine in, because that's another fun granulating one. Oh, I'll put an Indian Red in. She hasn't got any of those kind of deep, opaque PR101s yet. I'll give her some Hematite Violet Genuine. And then definitely some environmentally friendly brown iron oxide. This is a gorgeous granulator. Kind of mid-brown. Then Haze Brown is probably quite a good landscapey one. I forgot about my new Rosa Gallery Golden Brown. That's a great one. And then the very last one, I think I'll include some black. I don't really use it, but she might want to. There we are. I'll let those dry now and write all the names on everything. I was just wondering if there was anything else I could include as well. So I've got this travel water pot, and I can send. And then I've got some of these Daniel Smith watercolour sticks, so I'll chop some of those off and pop them into one of these little cases for her. So this was the granulating set. So she's already got some of the Sodalite Genuine. I'll just pop the other 4 in. And this is the Serpentine Genuine. I'll just show you them. It's another olivey green, but it granulates to a kind of a more orangey tone than the other granulating greens I've included. And then I've got some Pigmentite Genuine. I'm going to have to write millions of notes to explain everything. And then some Lunar Black. And then Hematite Genuine. I've got Hematite Genuine tube, but it's nearly run out, so I'll move on to the stick next. This one's a little bit harder to re-wet. Oh, it's so cute. Here's my finished colour chart then for the larger palette. So that'll go in there, just to give her a rough colour guide. And I'll pop these in the sun now and get them drying as quick as possible. And then there's the little palette, and I've written out a chart to go with that now. And then I've done a little mini chart to go with the Daniel Smith watercolour sticks. I haven't been able to include all of my favourite watercolours, just because a lot of those I've only got in pan form. But hopefully that will give her a good selection to be able to get an idea of what professional watercolours feel like and look like. Well, I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you think that that's a nice set for doing mixed media over the top of watercolours for landscapes. Thanks ever so much for watching. Bye!